Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome. We've got...
Get off that countertop. Come here, Kiki. Kiki!
We have quite the story time for today, so I hope you can get settled in, because this one's a doozy. I've actually been sitting on it for a few days, just trying to process it, I think, to make sure that I can get it all out and share it with those who need to hear the message, which I'm not sure what the message is. Hello, Dottie and Michelle and Katie and Carrie and Karen and Jill and Stacy. Hello. So let me start by saying I took a trip to San Francisco on business, and I had to take a red-eye flight out of California on Thursday to head home. My flight didn't leave until 11 p.m. The conference ended at around 1 p.m. And so I, not knowing the area, went into the Google and I typed in massage, because I was looking for a place to kill some time after the conference, get a massage, have some downtime before I went to the airport, because I knew I was going to be going to the airport hours early. So I'm unfamiliar with the San Francisco area. And so I call and I booked something called the Lavender Goddess massage, which sounds, happy birthday, Haley, which sounds delightful. And right before I hung up when I was stop it. And right before I hung up when I was making this appointment, the receptionist said, just an FYI, we are a clothing optional facility. Which I found odd, but I'm naked when I get a massage. There's a sheet over you, but I'm naked when I get a massage. So when she said it's a clothing optional facility, I assumed she was talking that you could either have your underpants on or be naked for your massage. So I show up after the conference to go in to this spa. And when I walk in, they hand me keys to the locker. They hand me a pair of flip-flops. And I walk in to the most naked women I've ever seen in my life. And I'm talking full frontal nudity, which same parts, same. I have no issue with it. Same. But it was a little jarring because I thought I had booked myself a massage at a massage spa when in fact I was at an Asian bathhouse. So I walked in and there's a sauna and a steam room and a whirlpool and a cold plunge and showers, and everybody is naked. Naked as the day they were born and going about their business, which is fine. No problem. So I have a bathing suit in my suitcase. So I put my bathing suit on and I go into the sauna and I go into the steam room and I'm having a wonderful time with a large group of naked women. I myself was the odd man out in a swimsuit. But that was my level of comfortability. So I go back to the locker because I know that I'm going to be getting my massage soon. So I go back, I rinse off in the shower, which I'm standing next to somebody who's having a full conversation with me in the nude, which is fine. I think we talked about groceries. It was great. And I'm trying not to look down at boobies and bush while I'm talking to this woman as she's discussing her Whole Foods run. And I drifted. You know, I felt bad because clearly this is a normal thing in a bathhouse. I've just never been in one. I digress. I go back, I rinse off after my shower. Kiki! I rinse off. I go back to my locker. I take my swimsuit off. I wrap my towel on in my robe. And I sit to be called for my massage. I sit down to be called for my massage. So I am waiting by the door that says massage on it. It says massage room, please be quiet. So I'm waiting. All of a sudden, a 70-year-old Asian woman comes out of the bathhouse calling number 33. And I'm looking at her confused because I see a room marked massage. And she says to me, no, you're with me. And so I get up in my robe and my flip-flop shoes, and I follow her. And I follow her into a room with a rubber shower curtain. And she walks me into the back room where it's just a rubber shower curtain, a rubber table, drains on the floor, and a hose hooked up to a wall. And she looks at me and she says, "Take your clothes off, face down, please." I said, "I'm sorry, I'm here for a massage." And she says, "Yeah." So before I know it, I am ass up, tater tots down on a rubber table, naked as a blue jay, stark naked. And this woman introduces herself. She says, "Hi, I'm Lee." She says, "Please relax. I'm going to begin." And it was at that moment that I believe my soul started to leave my body when Lee put on these gloves and started to exfoliate every nook and cranny. It was intimate, but rough. It was aggressive, yet gentle. I'm not sure if it was sandpaper, but she was going to town and scrubbing me as though I have never been bathed before. And every few minutes, every few seconds, every 30 seconds, she tells me to flip. So she is scrubbing me, flip, scrubbing me, flip, scrubbing me, flip, scrubbing me, flip, like a Costco rotisserie chicken that was being exfoliated with a sand blaster. Okay? I was paralyzed at this point, I've got nothing on, tater tots out, landing strip, full frontal. Lee then calmly taps me on the shoulder, tells me to go rinse off the exfoliating scrub. So I think that this is done. I think at this point, I was like, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I may have made love to an older Asian woman. I don't really know what took place. But I leave, I rinse off, I come back to the room. She says, she's laying what looks to be tinfoil on the rubber table. She's got this massive sheet of what looks to be tinfoil. And she tells me, lay down face up. My nipples could cut glass. I'm freezing. I've been hosed down multiple times at this point. I'm just sitting here. And Lee takes what I believe to be a mixture of lavender and Vicks Vapor Rub. And she slathers my entire body. It's what I would assume a human Jiffy Lube would feel like. And I am slathered from toes to just underneath the chin bone here, above the clavicle. I am fully lathered. And then she starts to swaddle me like a Chipotle burrito, tucked in, and then puts like 8 towels on me to keep that heat in. So I am cooking on the inside of this tinfoil sheet with lavender vapor rub. I felt like I was inside of a Ronco, okay? And I just sat there, paralyzed. While Lee gave me the best scalp massage I've ever had. And just when I think, because I'm nodding off at this point from being cooked from the inside, this delightful head massage, she starts to unswaddle the burrito and she sends me off for another shower. Okay? I go, okay, this must be done now. And so I go out. I have another fully naked conversation with a different woman in the shower. I get completely rinsed off. I go back in and I'm thinking to myself, at this point, we must be saying goodbye. She's seen every inch of my body at this point. But the answer to that is no, we are not done. We are not finished with this encounter. And so she tells me to lay back down and she starts to take buckets of hot water and she's throwing these buckets of hot water over me. She has one washcloth on the landing strip area. One washcloth right here. This is all we have. And buckets of hot water just being whoosh, 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 dumped on me. Okay. Then she tells me, Lee, one of the kindest souls I've ever met in my life. She tells me it is now officially time for the massage. So she starts oiling me up and sliding her body on my body in a way that was, I could liken it to rhythmic gymnastics. I'm not sure how the woman was able to move with such vigor, but she was on me, in me. I'm not sure. It happened so fast. It was like lightning. It was like, and she was in and out, up and down and over, and I was turned around. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what year it was. Confusion, relaxation, a curiosity of where do Lee and I stand? Does she really like me? Is she only doing this because I'm paying her? Are we star-crossed lovers? I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't know. I want to call my therapist. I also feel like I have to call my husband and confess to some form of adultery that I'm not sure took place. But she did a form of acrobatics that left me walking on air. Okay? So I think at this point, we must be done. Oh, we're not. She sends me off for another shower. I am now showering thrice with another naked woman. I come back in. I think we must be done. What else could we do together? So she tells me to sit back down on the table, and she gets a squirt bottle and she starts shooting me with a white substance. And I kind of gave one of these because it wasn't cold. It's room temp. And she said, "Don't worry, it's just milk." So she has a squeeze bottle and she is shooting me and rubbing me with, I don't know if it was almond milk, rice milk. I don't believe it was of goat origin. I'm not sure, but I was fully milked. Fully milked with what looked to be the industrial ketchup mustard bottles. She then asks me to put my hands out. She squirts the milk into my hands and tells me to wash my face with it. At this point, Lee brings me a towel. She starts to pat me dry. And she genuinely thanks me for this transcendental experience that we just had. I was a changed woman. I went back to the shower because I was covered in some type of milk. I washed again with yet another naked woman. And then I got myself dressed to go to the airport, but not before giving Lee a 30% tip on the service and a 5-star Yelp. I've been feverishly Googling Jacksonville bathhouses to see if we have any Asian bathhouses, because now that I've crossed over, if we're being honest, I must return. It was delightful. It was wonderful. It was 2 hours. It was 2 hours of scrubbing and washing and vapor rubbing and milking and massage acrobatics. It was 2 hours. I had no idea that I made an appointment for a bathhouse or that I was going to get an adult bath that day. But it changed me on a cellular level. And I've had to think about this for like 4 days before I could tell this story to you guys. I needed 4 days to process this. And I felt bad because I thought to myself, you know, Lee is literally jiffy lubing people. Like, that's hard work. She's an older woman, you know. So I left her a ridiculous tip. But I am telling you, I had no idea what I had gotten myself into. And it was the creme de la creme of the trip. Fully milked. I'm not traumatized. I want more. Somebody's like, I thought you would have been No, I can't wait to go back is what I'm saying. 5 stars. So confused. I've never been so naked in all my life. I've never seen so many naked women in all my life. So naked. The room was very Dexter-esque, though. I will say, the rubber shower curtains, the rubber table, the drains on the floor, and the hose. 2020 episode. Okay? I did not know I was going for an adult bath. I didn't know. I didn't know that was a thing people did. I didn't know adults went to places to get bathed. How much does something like this cost? $200. Costs $200 for an adult bath. Okay? Worth every penny. I didn't know. I just said I'd like to book a massage. Before I knew it, things were happening. I've never paid that much for a massage. I didn't know the extras, the bells and the whistles. There was a men's bathhouse on the other side. So the men and women did not commingle. So it was the women's side of the spa and the men's side of the spa. There were no naked. If I walked in and it was a co-ed bathhouse, I'd have been out. I'm not looking at naked dingle dangles while I'm trying to relax. No, I just went on Google Maps and I was like, I need a massage. I got so much more than I needed. It was an experience. And then I left. I've been avoiding baths my whole adult life. I really have. I hate baths. I don't like tubs. I don't like sitting in people soup. And here I was getting a bath from my new lover, Lee. Nah, get over here, Kiki. And boy, oh boy, what an experience. I could have done without the milking. Was Lee naked? No. Lee was a stellar employee of the spa. None of the employees were naked. And it was a great time. It was a great time, is what I can tell you. It was a great time. And I'm a better person for it. I'm a better person. Fabletics, years ago. So overall, I had a great trip out to Facebook. I got to hang out with some really, really cool people. Was there a happy ending? Not in the sense that you're referring to, I believe. I was just a happy clam at the end. I got to hang out with Kristen and Jen from My Mom So Hard, and Becky from Becky Be Social, and I got the speech professor, Chesko. I met Ricky and the boss. I met so many different people. And it was wonderful. So she was fully clothed. Brenda just wants to make sure. Yes, she was fully clothed. Lee was a consummate professional. Kind. At one point, she and I locked eyes, and she saw directly into my soul. You know? She peeled me back. Layers of an onion. What can I say? She peeled back the layers of my soul. In a way that is transformative. Mind you, I didn't tell you this part. Mind you, all of these stalls are lined up next to each other, so you can hear the other women who are being bathed and the troughs of water that are being poured on them, and their little conversations, and the flipping on the rubber table, because it's just this rubber curtain that is dividing you. So everybody's taking an adult bath at the same time, being scrubbed down with sandblasters. And it's very communal, is what I'm saying. It's very, very communal. And I, you know, but Lee's attention was only on me. That I can tell you. She made me feel whole. So are you a late in life lesbian? Is this your coming out? No, she was a very kind woman. And it was a very interesting experience. It was clearly, a culture that I was unaware of. It was, an experience. I'm honestly, I don't know that I ever would have agreed or booked this had I known what I was about to experience. And I can tell you that I would do it again. But now I feel like I'm prepared, like sitting there with, you know, nipples that could cut glass and a landing strip that's, you know, kissing the sky. is a little disconcerting if you're not comfortable with your nudity. And so I was glad when she put the washcloth, the loincloth over me. But the tater tots were always, you know, open air. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I leave the spa and I call Dave in the Uber and I'm telling him this and he's just dying laughing. He's like, how did you not know? And I was like, I couldn't read the menu online. I didn't really understand and it just said massages. I've had a lot of massages. It's a combo, Christina. It's a combo bath massage appointment is what I'm saying. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. So I, you know, was very happy, left a big tip. And went to the airport where I met up with my friends, because they also had red eyes, and we sat, and I did confide in them with my experience with Lee, and you know, she hasn't called. But that isn't surprising. She has a lot of customers. I shouldn't feel as though I am the one, you know? Hey, Debbie, are you on your trip? So, yeah, it was, I'll never forget it. I haven't looked yet to see if I have an Asian bathhouse near me, but I can tell you that I will be looking, and if I find one, watch out. Oh, there's Becky. Becky's in here, guys. If you're not following Becky, you need to follow Becky because her shit is hilarious, and she's very, very funny. She and I, the similarities, uncanny. I felt like we were the same person talking about our husbands, our kids. Her kids are little, but nonetheless, you need to be following her. She's in the comment. Hello? Hello? This is she. Let me call you. Can I call you back at this number? 1 second. I just have to hang up my phone.